Alrighty, it's Tarot Teachings number 2. Today what we have embarked and in store for you is learning about the Major Arcana, the Minor Arcana, and the Court class. The Court class goes into every single suite. That would be like the Kings, the Queens, etc. We'll get there when we get there. And one other element that we will be discussing is literally the elements and how they work with each suit of cards, okay? Perfect. So we're going to go ahead, and I think a great place to start would be explaining to you what the Major Arcana is. All right, I have some notes here that I'm going to be going through that I went ahead and wrote out to identify the key focuses of each of these classifications. So what is the difference between the Major and the Minor Arcana? So the Major Arcana is the first 22 cards in the tarot deck. And this is going off of the traditional Rider's Tarot. So the Major Arcana, they represent the most, what I would like to state, staple cards in tarot. The Hierophant, the Magician, the Fool, etc. And I state it that way as staple because people can tend to think that they're the most powerful cards in tarot. And they're all powerful. They're not tarot's a story, so you can't just put one word against a whole sentence. Do you see what I'm saying? The way I like to put it is the power in the Major Arcana. One card, it's like the meaning of what's happening now and in the future and in the past. It's a complete staple of your state of existence to this point. The Major Arcana deals with the biggest life themes. I like to consider the Major Arcana to be the border of your puzzle. Okay, so in tarot, when you're going into a spread in life, etc., all of these cards play a piece. As we go further down later into the Minor Arcana, etc., I'll explain to how those pieces fit. But for the Major Arcana, they're like the border. Every single Major Arcana card you pull in your reading, it attaches a foundation to go inwards to. There are very deeply embedded meanings within all of these cards. There's so much more than just death means cycle repeat. Lovers means soulmate. So much deeper than that. The cards work together. The Major Arcana, as a Fool, represents the Fool, meaning the first card in tarot, the new beginning, the new journey. The Major Arcana shows how powerful energies are influencing your life and how that will make a future for you. It helps you navigate a full map, while as the Minor will be day-to-day things for you to focus on. How you're driving versus the destination. So to sum up the power of the Major Arcana, they're bold statement words, while as the minors work together. The Minor Arcanas, they work together to make this full picture. When you pull a Major, it's like their staple, their front face. Now, as we move on to the Minor Arcana. So the numbers for the Minor Arcana always start with Ace to 10. So number 1 is Ace. They show you the current flow of energy in your life. Not so much looking into the future, it's telling you what to focus on right now and how a cause and effect is occurring. There are very specific reasons for each of the elemental suits that you are called to pull those ones. The emotions, the abundance, the communication, the adventure, being able to split and make sure that all of these cards don't feel like they're being forced to understand or forced to be fit. I like to state that the Minor Arcana is like it's the mini pieces in the puzzle, right? So we have our borders, we have our little chunks that put in the minute details, And then we have those big staple, like medium pieces almost, where they really are able to combine the border to those minute little details of flow. Your minor arcana is those minute detailed pieces of the puzzle in your reading. They expand what immediate shifts are to occur or are occurring. They're to help you center and focus to the now and not be so caring of the future or stuck in the past. The major and minor arcanas work hand in hand. There is no more one importance with the major than there is with the minor. There just simply is a long story short of that. Majors are staple, future, very much future where you're going. And if you pull a lot of minors, they are explaining what is going on in your day-to-days right now to influence the major to follow. Now that we've dived into what the major arcana is, the minor arcana is, before we go into explaining the last set, which is the court cards, I'm going to explain to you the elemental suits, okay? So we have 4 suits in tarot. That is the wands, the swords, the pentacles, and the cups. There are, in many different tarot decks, different interpretations of that same meaning. So what I'm stating is, wands in certain card decks, the author, the creator, could decide to make them branches. That's a very common one. Another common one is swords. Certain decks will call them daggers. Pentacles may be called coins. Cups may be called chalices. That is basically the universal terms. And the beautiful thing about tarot is that there is the booklet, the pamphlet, etc. to go off of, but you have individual language with your cards. So, the elemental suites, wands, they are ruled by fire signs, and that is the Aries, the Leo, the Sagittarius. Wands are very action-oriented cards. When you pull the wands, it's explaining a subject of adventure, their creative forces. It's talking about how bringing your realities into your career, into your fantasy, all as one. It's about expanding passionate offers. It's always about forward movement. And cards have a different meaning, pulling them up and in reverse. In another video, we're going to explain the differences between pulling up hands and reversals. But bookmark that for a later time. Right now, the focus is letting you know when wands are pulled, the reason that they are called to be pulled is anything to do with action and career developments. Anything to do with personal character development as well. They're very nature-oriented cards. So when you pull also wands, the beautiful thing is it's more than just the definition that these cards are explaining to you. It can also explain to you what parts of the elements that Spirit's saying you to connect with more. If you see yourself in your card decks and in your pulls pulling a lot of wands, that's probably your source telling you to connect more with nature, to go outside, to be grounded, to be persistent in your endeavors. The next suit is the swords. Swords are ruled by air signs. So that would be the Gemini, the Libra, the Aquarius. So when you pull swords, they are about communication. It's thought, it's mindset, it's intellectual, it's very logical thinking with these swords. There is a bunch of change. It is about perception and challenging beliefs, but also standing to certain beliefs. The swords are the communicators, the protectors, the ones that aren't willing to watch everything just continue to be the way it was just because it's been the way it was. When you pull swords, a lot of a reason swords are also pulled is to explain to you to intertwine with the magic of this world with a K. Real magic, which was what we're doing now and we're continuing to do. It's letting you know that there's practices, there's inventions, there's things for you to fight for in your life. The vital breath of the wind with the swords, you will feel yourself literally, when you pull swords cards, be able to breathe heavier, even deeper at times. The swords are there to push you forward. The swords are there to bridge gaps in communication. Whereas wands are more the pat on the back, the friend by your side. The swords are you. The swords are your embodiment of fighting through this game, fighting through this existence to see your reality. The pentacles are ruled by earth signs. That's Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorns. The pentacles are all about more than just material goods. They are 1000%. When you pull cards about pentacles, they are talking to you about your finances and energy investment, material world investment, etc. But they're also about health. They're about manifestation. They're about receiving resources, giving resources. Pentacles with the power of earth have also the power of transmutation. I sense when coins are being pulled a lot in your cards, aka pentacles, that is spirit saying you have something to transfer. There is something right now in this physical existence they do want you to focus on, and they want you to stop hyper focusing on I'm a bad person if I know I'm deserving of money. That I'm a bad person or selfish because I need material gain in this world. We live in a 3D existence. Let me tell you something. The upper elites, all these people that don't want you and others to know this, that the only way to receive more is telling the world that you're deserving of it, not being humble. When go with me here, okay? For real. When you're talking to the universe about who you are, your existence, and how much you matter, you do not humble yourself to meet a lower energy being. You are always humble. You are always grateful of them. So when you state in this 3D existence, I'm not going to be humble. I'm going to get all these riches because I'm somebody that's going to do something with it. We have the Jeff Bezos. We have all these people who, don't get me wrong, I'm sure that they do their energy investments and etc. But you can feel certain companies, etc., they could do so much more with the money that they had. They're only doing the bare minimum. You're not somebody that would do that. You're exact opposite. So you are the type of person that needs money. You are the person to take the money away from pessimistic mindsets, investments. The pentacles are letting you know to focus on where your resources are going, and if it's an expansion time of receiving. The cups, they're ruled by the water signs. And the water signs are Cancers, Scorpios, and Pisces, okay? The cups, they represent relationships, romance, emotions, following your intuition, heartfelt conversations, healing through human bonding. The cups are about pouring into each other's cups. The cups are one little part that's scooped up from the river. And the river is all of our collective. You have your individual cup that you're able to go in and transfer, take, and bring to somebody else to drink, and the vice versa. When you pull cups in your readings, it's center focusing on, a lot of times, relationships with people. It's more stating whatever we're talking about here is about another person versus self-growth or etc. Do not get me wrong. Cups can be pulled when we're talking about self-evolution and self-development, etc. About the way you're thinking about yourself. But when cups are pulled, there's a lot of intuition involved. Like, just an example. If I was pulling a question asking what are somebody's true intentions with me, and I received the 6 of Swords, okay, I would be able to understand that that person has a voyage, that they are going on their own journey of life, that I have gone on my own journey of life. We have fought to get away from what no longer serves. This person's intentions with me are to be a fighter. that they're done with the bullshit of the old, that they're appreciative of being there, but they're on the same ship as me going forward. If I would pull the Six of Cups in the same exact question reading, what are their intentions with me? Well, Six of Cups up hand, that represents being in a nostalgic state of mind of a past life connection, feeling a little bit sense of woe me energy. Like, oh, I'm just going to let that live in the past. It's out of my control. I sense that when somebody pulls a Six of Cups, it's almost a sense of them giving up on self and leaving something in a nostalgic state of mind, versus understanding you can appreciate what was then, but go forward. The Six of Cups would be somebody holding back from allowing their highest timeline in. While as the Six of Swords up hand is somebody going straight forward to that new beginning. You see the difference? Same question, but different feeling and reason. That's what's so beautiful about when you start understanding the individualness of every single suit, card, element, etc. The wands are nature oriented. They're about creativity. They're about movement. They're about being a sponge and expanding your knowledge and getting knowledge from other people. Swords are about magic and combat. They're about that communication, the logical thoughts, the logical movements and actions. Pentacles are about that transmutation of energy, one thing for another. It is about abundance and material goods, finances, but even more, it's about helping hands and getting helping hands. And lastly, but definitely not leastly, the cups. Senses, sacred spirituality, foundations of life, and flowing through seeing clarity of emotions versus logical thinking. Your swords are going to help you more with your masculine mindset. The cups help you with your feminine mindset. And the wands and the pentacles are just a little mix of each. You can't even, with those two, it would be hard to even more staple. But if I had to go 2 for 2, I would say pentacles and swords work very much hand in hand. And cups and wands work very much hand in hand. If you were to pull a card spread and you received most swords and pentacles, I would state that whatever reading is going on, the universe is telling you to strive for your finances, to fight and break free of an illusion, keeping you from a lower, or keeping you in that lower sense of bringing in money understandings. If I were to pull a reading with a lot of wands and cups, what I would state is that's going to be a reading about bringing forward movement in a relationship, something that's worth going and striving forward. And we are right now talking about all these as if we're talking about only uphand cards. Remember that bookmark, because uphand cards and reversals have totally separate meanings. Right now, all that matters to understand the elements is picturing every card uphand. If I picture all uphands and their wands and their cups mixed together, it's going to be about a relationship. It's about something that's exciting and it's a new adventure, that this is not a game, that this person wants to bring foundation into your life. Another example, if I would pull a card spread and most of them were swords and cups, what that would be telling me is there is a relationship to fight for. There is something that it's not about you two like having an adventure together like how it would be with the wands. It's something about like standing your ground and what is yours. Foundation, bringing clarity, bringing masculine energy into feminine decisions. If I were to pair wands with pentacles, I would state that that's normally, when I see wands and pentacles together in readings, it's really about like career. It's about like making an investment in something where it takes a leap of faith, trusting that spirit's going to catch you. Those are very minute examples because of how far each card goes into interpretation, down to the point of the way it's been put down, if it's in reversal, if it's sideways, etc. Again, next video, we're going to be explaining what all of those parts mean. It's just good for you to have a bookmark right now, hearing that, planting a seed in your head about it, and it will expand. The last cards we are going to be learning about today are the court cards. So the court cards, those would be the page, the knights, the queen, and the kings. The places you find those cards, going back to remembering the 4 suits. You remember how the 4 suits have cards ace through 10? Well, right after 10, before you would go on to the next suit, there will be 4 cards placed in between that 10 and the new suit. That is the page, the knight, the queen, and the king. They are what I would consider the royalty of the whole card deck. You remember how the major is the borderline of your puzzle? The minor are those minute little details. Well, the courts, the royals, are the medium, meaty pieces where you got your border. You got these big pieces in the middle that are able to connect all of those minute, detailed pieces together. They represent levels of knowledge, position, and stages of development in whatever your reading is about. So, to start with, pages. So pages are the beginning stages, the trials of whatever is going on in your life, your existence, your reading. It is about learning. It's about being a sponge and really going through moments to get you prepared to even go on an adventure. It's like the tutorial before starting a job, etc. It's before even doing hands-on knowledge. It's extremely important stage that a lot of people can try to brush off, but you can't skip this stage before going into a new role. It's almost like elementary. Pages are the beginning foundations of importance for everything else. The knights, they are a time of learning, like not learning the stages and the trials and errors. Like you're in the field, hands-on, taking everything you learned in a book, in school, etc., into the 3D world, and you're still learning, but now it's experience, not by being told or seeing. It's a time of gaining knowledge, of continuously still being a sponge. The page and the knights are both sponges. They're action-oriented individuals. And within the different suits, all of the knights, etc., have different meanings. There is definitely different levels and reasons for pulling each knight. Some knights are very slow and steady wins the race. Some are action-oriented, got their swords out ready to fight. It depends on which suit you pull the knights in. But they're rebellious, they're move makers. Knights are about action-oriented movement. Even if it's slow, it's still gonna be something. The next would be the queen, okay? The queen, she is a powerful ruler of the feminine energy, which is a nurturer, compassion, sympathy. She's a teacher, she's a leader, and very much an attractor, okay? When you pull the queen, and remember, every single suit, they will have different meanings, but the majority, the meat and potatoes of it, if you will, is always about divine feminine strength. If I were to pull the Queen of Swords in a reading, up hand, that would be you are a riding soldier. No matter if you are a lone soldier or if you're part of a team, a lot of times Queen of Swords are pulled when it's letting you know you have to venture forward by yourself to find your true pack. Your few true family members will mean more than being in a fake crowd. When you pull the Queen of Swords up hand, it's about honoring feminine nature for self, picking yourself, and having that hard exterior going forward to what it has to be. If I were to pull the Queen of Cups, though, that's a powerful nurturer of charisma, of helping others, of being this light source, of knowing the people around you are deserving of your empathy. I would say a Queen of Cups is very much a mother. Out of any of the queens, the mother, the nurturer, one with emotions. Pulling the Queen of Cups can explain to be more hold more feminine strength with your partner even. So, she's a provoker. Both the Queen and the King are provokers and providers. The king, he is the ruler of dominance and decision. And remember, tarot, there is no gender in tarot. It's masculine and feminine energy. So if you hear me say he, all I'm trying to state is masculine energy. If you hear me say she, it's feminine energy. The king is the ruler of dominance and decision making. That masculine energy is the willpower, the logical thinker, the go-getter attitude. The people that aren't complaining are looking for resolutions. The king is also a teacher, a leader, a protector, and a provider. The king is no higher than the queen. They are same level. They are a balance and work together. They are tango partners. In readings, if you pull, let's say, the King of Cups and the Queen of Cups in the same reading, both up hand, that when I see a king and a queen be pulled together, it's deeply about partnership. It's deeply about finding a valued person in your life and striving forward together. If I were to pull, let's say if I would have pulled the King of Swords paired with the Queen of Cups, what I would state with even that is the man or the masculine in the reading is a very logical thinking, tries to plan extremely ahead to be just prepared for anything, but they may be a little bit out of touch with their emotions. Okay, the Queen of Cups comes in, and their dominance is the emotion. Their dominance is the connection, and to be that safe feminine net. The king, his feminine side will be brought out more from having that queen, and vice versa. The queen will have her masculine side within self be brought out more from being next to her king. If you in a reading pull, let's say the king and queen from the same suit. So if you were to pull the King of Wands and the Queen of Wands, that's like a divine countership pull. That is a soulmate of some sort. It's something much more to look into. And if it's about like a business partner, etc., because what if we're pulling these cards and something about what love? What if it's about going to a job or making an investment, etc., going into a partnership with somebody? That's a strong foundation, as long as they're both up hand. Alongside that, the king is extremely a protector. The queens are the nurturers, the kings are the protectors. But they're both providers, they're both teachers, and they're both leaders. The biggest thing to center focus out of this reading is that there is power and personal adjustments for the reasons of your cards. Tarot is a language, and we have many different ways of speaking, don't we? We have many different languages, but they all have some source of centering meaning to combine and understand how to read one language to the next. Even if some words or etc. have to be modified, there is still some ability to do that. When you understand the traditional form of tarot, that we will be center focusing on this for a lot of this coaching. Once we get through understanding the writer's version of tarot, we're going to go into even other forms to where you one day will have your complete own language with the cards, and you will decide with your cards what you're going to follow. But for the time being, to have that set foundation, to gain your meat and potatoes, this is what you follow. But the personal adjustments can come whenever you extremely are feeling inclined to it. I'm going to give you an example. So, in most readings, in traditional tarot, the tower in reversal would represent a lot of like, things are not, like this is a destruction, this is something that is not leading to rising from the ashes. The tower is everything of a foundation falling down so you can rebuild from the ground up and it be stronger than ever. And a lot of people take the reversal of the tower as something almost opposite of that you can't rise from this, etc. That never sit right with me. That never sit right with me. My cards, they always told me that meant something different. And once I became in touch with my language of my cards, I knew I could change the meaning of that for me. For me, when I pull tarot and I get the tower in reversal, it's about, I see a phoenix bird rising from the ashes. The tower uphand is understanding the tower moment. that you're in a tower moment, that it's not to be scared of, that it's doing something to rebuild and not even repair, expand your future. If you will pull a tower card in reversal, it's letting you know you're in a tower moment and you're not realizing it, and this is a time to arise from the ashes, that you are a phoenix bird. That is a very small example, and you will always feel and know when there's a card that registers to do the same thing for you. Remember, another thing to center focus on is you are the power source. You are the docking station. Tarot is the screen. Remember, tarot, this only works because of us. We give it the power. This is transmutation. This is spiritual alchemy. Just another example I like to give is my example of a mechanic. Okay, so mechanics, they are the masterminds. They know how to take apart the car, whatever piece of equipment that they are working on. They created tools, which is using the elements, blacksmith, to make metal, tools, etc. You know what I'm trying to say? That's actually a form of blacksmith spiritual alchemy. They made tools to make their jobs easier. There are certain minute little details, parts that they couldn't get in with their fingers, their 3D world fingers, so they made something that would be able to get in and turn just perfectly enough to release another part of a big chapter of something that they have to remove to replace. That is tarot. We are the mechanics. They are the tools. We gave them the value. And we appreciate them. And they appreciate us back. You are the docking station. You are the memory of the... Think of it, also another representation I like to give is like a phone. The screen is not what's making... the phones that you're looking at me possibly through right now. That screen is not the power of the phone you are looking at. Or it's simply the reflection. The power source that's making it to where you can use your phone is in the back and you can't even see it. It's working this whole time we're talking, when you're sleeping, etc. You can't see it. But as soon as you need to turn your phone on, it lights up, right? That's tarot. Tarot is the screen. You are the battery. You are the motherboard. Another thing to focus on is this is a continued evolution. As you connect more with your cards, it's going to become less and less overwhelming. It is so important to not be scared of the fact that this is all overwhelming at the beginning. And it's fast paced, yes, but it is repetitive. A big thing I like to remember to state to people is find the balance between practicing this in a repetitive sense, but also then just letting things flow. Because this is not to ever feel like homework. This is not ever to feel like you're sitting in a classroom you don't want to be in. These are lessons that are supposed to make you thrive and feel good. So if you start feeling overwhelmed in the beginning stages of tarot, don't feel like you have to know your cards perfectly at all. The cards are never there to scare you. Ever. Cards are to always help and heal and help you center focus on things to notice in your life. The Rider's White Tarot that we've talked about. And then there is this is a hard word for me to state, but I feel very important to tell you that there is also the Mariceles Tarot. And the Riders right now is what we have been center focusing on, the traditionalism of that. The Mariceles Tarot is going to be an embarkment way down the future after we've established this. The Rider's Waite Tarot is where the Rider's Waite Tarot is where the minor arcana came into play. Beforehand, there was really no minor arcana, and most tarot decks you will purchase today follow that traditional Rider's format. And that Rider's format, the traditional tarot, has a structure of 78 cards. That is what we are concluding with today when it comes to tarot knowledge, teaching, coaching class. Amazing. Any questions you have, you are more than welcome to message me at any time on the Patreon app. This is beautiful. Continue your evolution. Continue knowing the importance of every stage. You're in the beginning part. You're in that pages. You remember the four courts, the knights, the pages, of the queens, and the kings. Right now, specifically when it comes to this tarot class, you're in the pages. Phenomenal building part. All right, that's what I got for y'all today, and I'll see you when I see you. Let's get it.